It's amazing. Yes, yes, Murara. Murara? Yeah, it's a Telegram call. Good afternoon, traders. Good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. It's a good afternoon indeed. It's a wonderful day today. We are going to be trading the New York session. My name is Tebza, and I would like to welcome you everywhere, wherever you're going to be joining us from, whether you are on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook, or whether you are just watching us directly from our StreamYard. Thank you so much. We had a good morning this morning at the London session, and I'm hoping that we're going to have the similar time, a good time again this afternoon from the New York session. Where are the New Yorkers? Where are those who are searching for pips, mining for pips in the New York session? So please just share the screen or share the link with any trader that you know could be traveling from work in this cold weather, and let's warm ourselves by looking at the market, and let's see how lovely the market looks this afternoon. I can see that they're already saying good evening. Sanele, always nice to see you, buddy, in our group. I'm definitely believing and thinking that it's going to be a wonderful time again. So yes, let's go for it. Let's go for it. What would you like us to look at? Clement, as always, my buddy, my brother, you're most welcome. So where are the other traders? I think most of them could be traveling. If you're already watching, that's gonna be a very awesome time. So New York has already been 2 hours in, and then we spoke a little bit about it this morning, and we hope that we're still gonna continue with what it's doing and what it's planning. So just go straight to the share. By the way, I'm not alone. I've got some I've got some guys who are joining me from behind the scenes, and they're also good traders right there. So guys, let's see what we have. It's a dollar session. It's a US dollar session right now. Today is Tuesday, the second day of trading for the week. What do we have and what can we get? I think that's what we're going to be looking at to see whether we cannot collect some few pips again today. Let's do it live. So we're going to be looking at gold as I've promised, and we're also going to be looking at mainly dollar pairs. Look at the indices. You may throw this time, because New York session can be like a freestyle session. We can even throw in the cryptocurrency. It has gone to sleep, honestly speaking. Nothing too much to write home about, but it could be something worth that you need to look at. What would you like us to look at? What pair are you on? What instrument are you trading right now? Is your account in the red or is in the blue? If it's in the red, what would you like us to help you review? It's free. Let's enjoy. But we're going to be monitoring the markets for nice breakouts of the session. We're going to be seeing if there's going to be any breakout of the session. I've been monitoring the dollar and the USD and the Canadian dollar, and it looked very interesting from my things there. And waiting for an opportunity there. So that's to start with. Just look at that. It's not very common analysis, I must say. I'm happy that you guys can appreciate the art and the science that goes into our analysis. Our analysis aren't just usual forms of analysis. And again, sometimes these trading sessions become educational for others, I know. Don't try to scrum. Don't try to do the market in a way that you would not understand or confuse you. So, but I think as you see on how I break down the market, you're going to be seeing that, oh, this man. But I like to break down the market according to cycles, according to sessions, according to phases, but I need to break it down. If you cannot break it down, you are going to get confused along the way, because the market, the price always gives some form of indication. So the USD CAD struggling to bounce from the bottom, but holding those support, changing patterns, throwing some other traders out. If you do not understand structure and if you don't understand patterning of the market, you completely get lost. So that's what I'm looking at right now. The neighbors now, the Canadian dollar and the US dollar. So I think I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. Could it be that we could just get some breakout there? Let me just make it nicely. There is the bounce there, the bounce on this. I believe that bounce could be a destroyer. Perhaps this launch of the US dollar against the Swiss franc, rather against the Canadian dollar, could be the one that holds, that's what one is looking at on an H4 basis. Will it break? I mean, 1 hour, rather a 4-hourly candle can do a miracle there. It can break this. It can break this pattern, but can it? But I'm liking on how these guys are already regrouping. Doing some form of a rounded bottom pattern right there, rounding that bottom. They could be launching to the upside this time. So if they do fail again, they just fail back to the same support that is still holding. So there's not really even of too many sellers, of the dollar against the Canadian dollar. We're waiting for the oil right there. Oil to come through to the party. I think should the oil reach the resistance, nice resistance, then we could be seeing a bullish dollar against the Canadian dollar for the first time. But don't rush it. We definitely are going to be free completely from this sell if we can break that level, which is the level I'm showing you right now. I think only after this. So we're still going to have to, the US dollar needs some lot of money to be breaking above this point. Once we break that point, I think you should be on an auto cruise. That's what Clement calls it. We should be on an auto cruise, Clement, because that's going to be above the FIB expansions of the 261.8 using this swing, this first swing. So we swing from the bottom. We have taken the first dip on the FIB zone right there. And now we are looking to see if the buyers will launch some further attacks. Like the US dollar buyers will launch some more attacks, against the Canadian dollar, or whether the Canadian dollar itself will want to show some form of resilience. Right there we go. Should be fine right there. That's the fading level. If everything goes pretty well, I am keeping myself on a bullish bias because the sellers are scrambling. All right. So I'm currently keeping the bias right there of the Canadian dollar, monitoring that consolidation, always looking for pattern. The market can never get me lost. It's very, very rare that could happen. But if that has happened, the market is always right. But there we are together witnessing. I am waiting to see a bounce on USD CAD. That support that you're seeing a triple bottom on the cross, on the big confluence of the support with a rounded bottom pattern, bottoming, and now looking to shoot to the upside. Could it fail? I don't know, but could they be buyers? For me, I'm saying that the buyers aren't really coming to the party most of the time there, and I think that's exactly big worry there, that the buyers seems not to be coming to the party. So if the buyers don't come to the party, that's going to be a big issue right there. The buyers of the US dollar. Ask me about the fundamentals. I have promised that I will always be commenting on the fundamentals of the US. I think I'm really interested to see what the US will do, the US Fed will do about the weak dollar. All right. So we are monitoring that very closely, whether they will be able to adjust some inflations there to ensure that the currency prices improves. But currently, as I always tell you guys, the Fed has enjoyed the benefit of the weak dollar so far. The Fed has enjoyed that. So because the Fed has enjoyed that kind of benefit of the weak dollar, they need to review seriously before they can apply or implement some monetary policy that could suggest that the dollar could be strong. Yeah, that could strengthen the dollar, perhaps stimulate the market to ensure that the dollar is strengthened further. But currently, as it is, where the price of the dollar is currently completely undervalued, according to us. But if that undervaluation it means good for the economy of America, they are highly likely to keep it the same until to the detriment. Why does America do that? Please note that all the time. That just about them keeping lots of gold reserves. The more the dollar gets weak, the more the crude prices shoot up, and the more the prices of gold shoot up, and that's exactly where their bread is buttered now. So the stocks are rising. The Brent crude price of the oil prices shoot up, gold prices shoot up, and that is where most of their assets currently on their balance sheet are looking at. Their balance sheet is pretty much more towards metals, oil, and equities. So once those do if those are doing very well, then I am less likely to see that the Fed would want to change anything, unless if, again I say that, unless if the inflation should be or could be a problem there. So if the most of Americans would have a higher disposable income, go on a huge spending spree, they may want to curtail that inflation, and that's what could be causing the price of the dollar to go up slightly, to appreciate it a lot. So as it is right now, they are still subdued in terms of from the point of consumer spending, though American seems to be having enough on their hands to spend, but they're worried about inflation. So Clement is commented there as I'm speaking. He said, battling to load here, but send to Silas Telegram, but I'm targeting 250 pips. We are targeting 250 pips on the USD ZAR. Yes, just about it. You're absolutely right. I think, let me just check the number of pips. There is a nice launch there. I hope you are on it. There is the nice launch. It's moving very nicely. Minimum target is 130 pips. If this can continue, there's a lot of resistance awaiting these buyers, by the way. It's not going to be an easy one. No session can just break this at once. The fundamentals could be coming, but that's going to be where it stops. Drop, 130 pips drop. But yes, the US dollar against Canadian dollar still keep on pushing and affecting this pattern. We could be seeing 290 pips, Clement. It can even go up to 300 pips. So expect just between, yes, you are correct, just between 250 pips to 350 to 300 pips. Very beautiful market. Trading this at 0.10, you're expecting something like $300. How long will it take? That's for the question. But I like the launch. I like what these guys are doing. You can see, let me just break it down for you now there. You are watching a potential. If you're not on it, I will definitely be again interested in it. This is the small resistance that I think this session can break today. So if you pretty much late, the New York session could be breaking this resistance of the resistance of the dollar, and take this to the other side. Once we break this point, we will be trading we'll be entering a new trading range. And that's going to be very important for scalpers out there, that's going to be a new trading range right there. Okay, let me just add this one to the M30. So let's look at the M30 again. Should not, in fact, it should be more of the M30 more than anything. So there it is. So that's what we're monitoring right now. There we're looking at the breakout. If they do break out, you can see already, guys, we have traded these patterns before. You can trade them again. So we're expecting very nice head and shoulder pattern right now to be in effect, and one inverse head and shoulder. And once that inverse head and shoulder is effected, there comes a very nice breakout. You see the buyers are coming full force right there. We will be going right now to review those news that have just come at past. We should have started with them, but there you go. You can see that this inverse head and shoulder pattern is coming. It's being it's definitely looking like it's gonna be activated. The sellers were lethal there this morning, during the London session there. Really disappointing. There they go. There you go. It's good to be reading this kind of patterns, especially from the point where you expected the buyers to come. I must emphasize that. It is very good to be reading this kind of patterns, inverted head and shoulder pattern, at the point where we are bouncing from the triple bottom. Makes sense, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense to be a buyer now. Lots of momentum, lot of volumes. The volumes are now pumping. I mean, the volumes, look at the volumes now. The volumes are now, you can see that in the session, these are the current high volumes now. The volumes are entering now. There, look at that. Just look at that. Just look at that. Where are you? I mean, if you're on a buy, look at that buyers. Look at those buyers. Look at that. Definitely good. For the past 30 minutes, as you and me are talking, you are loving those buyers. Those buyers were picked up early in the session. As I said, though I might start late, but I've been monitoring those buyers from since the London session this morning, and I could see that these buyers would make some kicks right there, right from this support. Not disappointing at all, coach. You can say that. Not disappointing at all. Will this drop? There it is. There, they're still pumping. I think the inverse head and shoulder pattern traders should be watching US dollar, Canadian dollar. US dollar, Canadian dollar. It's now producing very nice momentum. It clears the top of this session the previous session resistance. We could be seeing very beautiful, beautiful buyers again. Beautiful market. We could be expecting now the drop. Now that's gonna be the benchmark. You know, we benchmark them like that. We should be now just waiting for the top. Right, this. If we can break this, but I don't think that that's gonna be a problem for me. But I'm not concluding. You know, we're just gonna have to be waiting for that level to break, then take it from there. That's gonna be a very beautiful breakout because this pin bars of the sellers had made a serious battle there. That was on Monday, I remember. At this point, when I was nibbling on the market, I think I went on a short trade right there on Monday. The trade profit was right at this top, but now I have switched. You know, there it is. Right there it is. So let me just to be strict with these necklines, because these are the necklines that have thrown many scalpers away. You need to be very strict to know where the neckline is. If you cannot get that neckline proper, you might be caught with a false breakout, and that's what we call a whipsaw. You could just be whipsawed there. So get the neckline correct, know the price of the neckline. Once you do know that, then we're gonna be going nicely together. That's the neckline corrected. There you can see that the buyers are beginning to be shaken a little bit, but I hope that they are nicely recharged and they should be able to break to the upside. Okay, so that's how we start the session. What a nice way to start. What a beautiful way to start. There is the USD CAD waiting for the breakout of the inverted head and shoulder pattern. I would encourage you, while you are here with me in this live trading session, the breakout of that, if it does happen right now, we'll be joining it. I'm already on a buy. I'm waiting for high probability set up on my live. Then from there, you're gonna be going to the upside. No rush, no rush. So, but as I said in this market, I should be able to scale up and to increase, you know, the level of risk or reward when the price breakout will be above that shaded area that I'm showing you. This is the 261.8. This area is the one that is keeping swing traders kind of a little bit worried right now. When the price breaks above that point, I think you're gonna be seeing lots of us, you know, because we're looking for when we're swinging from the point where we know that there should not be too many resistances before us. So the distance between these two is where I think for me the momentum would be. So we're waiting for the buyers to work hard, you know, but we were interested in this range. Just telling you as swing traders, but because we're in a trading session, those who are short-term traders, there are still some opportunities for them there. But remember, as I always say, the short-term trading, the people who are going to the session to come up with a trade, we're trying to assist you to do it in a responsible, better, or with low risk. But of course, you can. That's the range that we're waiting to. I'm waiting for this range. This range is the one that is going to be giving buyers an absolute advantage. We clear the center line of your pitch. You attack from the center line. Right there, you know that you've got bigger defense. So I would rather prefer that the US dollar build some defense, some immunity, that it gets some vaccine so that it does not catch the virus. So USD CAD is also on the queue for the vaccine against the sellers. Then it can start attacking them with no mask, no washing of hands. There it is. On a much more serious note, what pair would you like us to look at? Clement would like us to look at Euro odd. Again, Clement, I'm really looking for Euro odd. Once you talk about Euro and odd, I'm thinking the London session. Remember, guys, the Euro session. I mean, the Euro session, I would rather prefer that we do that. Remember that every time when you come to our trading room and we are talking about a session trading, it's always better to be thinking that if you're trading this particular session, what pairs should move a lot during that session. So Euro is just about to wind up. The Euro markets are just about to wind up because the New York has taken over right now. Of course, they are still open, but we're expecting more capital to be flowing from the New York Stock Exchange. And then we are looking at the dollar currencies, dollar indices, US, Canada, Mexican peso, you know, those American, South or North American markets. That's what you're looking at. So this is now the session for that. So if it's Euro odd, we're hoping to break down the Euro odd just during the Euro session, please, guys. So I may not prioritize Euro odd at the moment. I will only prioritize gold, as I said, and US stock indices. We have broken down this morning. We have been talking about the sessions or the Euro stocks in the morning. I broke them down, all of them, and we could see where they're going. Perhaps it's time to be looking at the US stock indices at the moment. All right. Waiting for breakout on the USD CAD. That's exactly what you're looking at. So help me there. I've already broken down the USD CAD. There it's finding the resistance. I am really interested. I'm keeping on my caution watch at that resistance. This is real. This is so real. All right. This is when the US dollar does not also come to the party, but that neckline is a real resistance, not a small one. If these guys break this resistance, then we're expecting a beautiful market going to the top. And I definitely believe that they would have set themselves up for a nice confidence booster to be going to those levels that are above. So we're trading from home, guys. Don't worry about the sounds that you hear, you know. So that's how it is. So let's break it down now. Let me just go to check what happened to the news. Okay. I just want to show you what happened to the news right there so that we can take it from there. What happened to the news? Let me just check. I still have got my calendar there. Right. Because I really would like to know what happened to those trade balances, you know, just see how we trade and how we look at that together. Right. So look at what happened there. Why did the dollar get so much buying against the Canadian dollar? Highly likely the news that came, the high impact news that came could or should have given them a nice booster right there. Right. All right, there we go. I hope you can see the screen. I'm sharing now the news, the calendar right there. Okay, let's go to it. So you should be able to notice them. Just gonna scroll down and just look at how the news came through. The news at 2:30. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The news there it was. The news at 2:30. You can see the Canadian dollar also had some medium impact news. Wouldn't do anything. Though they were good news. The international merchandise trade, though they were good news because it was medium impact, and America posted very good news. There you go. Wow. So now America has got a small deficit now, a deficit of about 68.9 billion, you know, of goods and services. So that looks good for America. Rather, and that's the JOLTS job openings. You know, there's vacancies of about 9.286. The job openings now has increased. They expected about 8.3 million. Now there's 9.283 million. So JOLTS job openings. I don't know what JOLTS means, but I guess job openings, you know, something about jobs there. I can see that they look much better than expected. If there are more job openings, you can imagine that what will that do to the employment. Be bringing a lot of investors coming through to be buying, to be getting the dollar rallying the dollar and stuff. So the news indeed, they came out better than expected. During this session, I don't see any other further news unless if there will be surprise corporate news being posted and some companies perhaps announcing some major announcements in their corporates, in their income, in their revenues. So unless if that happens while we are in the session, we'll be looking at that. Okay, so there it is. What pair would you therefore like us to do? You are allowed, let's trade together, let's analyze together. I have already looked at the USD CAD. I'm interested in it. I am definitely showing lots of interest myself on the USD CAD. I'm going on it. So it breaks that neckline. I'm joining again. You know, I'm already coming from the base, you know, having bought from the base. Let's go with it again. Right. So USD CAD in the back. I hope you guys understood it. I know that my analysis may not necessarily be like yours. There is a serious resistance. Watch that. Watch how the sellers are coming in to fight. Will they win? Will they invalidate these head and shoulder patterns? Will they break as they have done before? I'm asking a question. They have done that before. They've already, before they broke out, they did break out before. You know, they had managed to disappoint us. We were on this trade. They have disappointed us many times. You can see that the same launch, this is the second launch, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we trade the market. It's not for the first time that the Australian dollar, rather the US CAD tried to launch an onslaught against the sellers of the dollar. So there it is. They've done that once, and that is phase 2. We are now on phase number 2. Right. So will they, can they, shall they succeed this time? That's the attempt number 1. Break it down here. Here we break it down. We are able to account. If you ask us what happened, there is just, as I said, there is just not enough. That's number 2. Number 2 is now the one that is in effect now. Will it fail? Will the second attempt to launch a bullish USD CAD succeed? That's where we are. Will it succeed? The price should have gone. That's the breakout. The price bounced nicely on a triple top. With this thing is repeating. It's a repeat, but we are not afraid. If something is bullish, does not matter what. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Should have gone to the upside, ladies and gentlemen, technically, but the momentum, the volumes let them down. The sellers attacked. Should have gone right there. Second attempt, same thing again. You know, it bounces once, twice, third time. Will it abort? Right. That's why I am very, very cautious on risk. You know, I'm very cautious on risk. So because it has happened before, I am still keeping the bullish bias, but I'm very careful on risk. You know, there's the third one, and there is the fourth one. But I'm very cautious because the first one bounced. There it is. The second one has succeeded, breakout, and it is forming an inverse and head short, holding that support. For as long as it holds that support, it has got my money. But if it loses that support, your question is that where will it go? Let me show you on how we measure the breakouts to the opposite. I'm not going to sell. We don't do like that. We don't sell when the market does that. So when it breaks to the downside, the sellers are just holding the buyers, but they are not taking the trend. You can see they really don't take the trend. They just delay them. So the sellers are playing some delaying tactics here. Where is the delaying tactics? Why the delaying tactics? They're just waiting for serious buyers to come into this market. So even if it can fail to break down there, I think I'm expecting that it could be failing somewhere there. So in this case, if it can fail from there, we're just going to be checking how much it drops from there, from the support. We're going to be using this equal leg. This leg will be used to determine how it drops and how far it's going to be dropping. So we put it standby. I'm putting this standby, but we can measure that these sellers, they really don't cause that much upset. You know, they just drop the price, delay. So if the price can drop, then we are going to be talking about a second launch of the buyers. That's going to be launch number 3 if it does happen. But for now, we cannot go ahead of that. We just have got to believe what the market is telling us right now, Right now, launch number 2 to the bullish side, it's happening, and we're going to be waiting for the third attempt. I think if the third attempt can fail, we could be now, I think the buyers could give up now. I think so. I'm not sure yet, but that's going to be the second attempt. Will the second attempt work? And I think it looks like it will work. Okay. Is that an over analysis of the USD CAD? Tell me if you think so. Is this useful? Let us know. Do a comment to say that, yes, I understand. Drop any question. Drop your comment. If you like what you're seeing, you can share that with your fellow traders to say, guys, it's happening this side, or this side is quite boring, and then you can join some other trading floors. This is our trading floor. We are Opulence FX, and we are not alone. We are with BMO FX. Any of these guys can support you. I think if you guys are getting it, that's gonna be awesome. Lovely stuff. So that's what we're monitoring right now. What other dollar pair or what other New York session instrument would you like us to look at? I will be looking at gold, as I've promised. On the cuts today, it's gold. I'll be looking at gold. I'm very interested to look at NASDAQ. Okay, where are the Veracity traders? NASDAQ this side. I know that the news have passed right now. Then we can go and check what happens on the NASDAQ side. Would you like us to look at the NASDAQ? Let's do that. Right. We will come back to I would like us to come back to this, because as much as it's consolidating, but I think there's a nice lesson educationally there that we can all learn, from that you can learn. Let's look at what the NASDAQ is looking like. There's the USD tech, right? There's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is looking like it's holding that bullishness. The news there gotten some big selling there. You agree with me? That's an M15 bearish engulf, a massive one right there. I don't know. Let's just check how far can it throw the price. Very important for you to know that the problem here with the NASDAQ is that it could be that they're struggling with momentum right there, and they could be making this kind of an ascending, though they've got tendencies of breaking these patterns. By the way, these are stock indices. There could be some issues there. So I think that's what I could be firstly looking at. And I'm not liking the NASDAQ when it does like this. It should be using the pivot points to launch, and when it breaks the top like it did before, when it breaks the resistance, it must be using it. Jump on it like we do in construction company. Don't go back below the price that is broken. Let me just get those right. So when I rather prefer that when the price is really rallying, it should not be coming back. We must do like this. This is what textbook rallying form of a market could give us an impulse. You break the top, jump, use that top as the base from which you jump. This NASDAQ has done it correctly. Well done, NASDAQ. That's the reason why we like you. But if the NASDAQ breaks the top, the next top, the NASDAQ must keep the price above this top. And I don't like that the NASDAQ is failing to do that now, because the failure now makes us to do the trend line like this, and we say this is not a resistance anymore. It could just even be used this as a launch to go to the downside. So this is not a very good signal for the NASDAQ right now. Rather for the NASDAQ, those who are selling, I know that you could have sold based on some M15 news that are happening. There comes the bias on the support. But it does not look good at all for the NASDAQ, because the price has pushed way too low than what we had expected. That's one. I think I'd be pretty cautious there on that bullish consolidation at the top. But what I like about the NASDAQ is that it is still holding this previous, this session that it broke. Remember, it came here by force during the NFP session that we all discussed. So for me, the key levels will be there, and it did a good thing. The good thing that it did there is that when it did that, it jumped up, right? And when it jumped up, it used and it is keeping the same resistance as support. The resistance it broke with the power of the NFP session. That's what it did. Now there's the NASDAQ, but it must keep holding those pivot points. I'm not interested currently. I would not like to be trading an index that does not seem to be giving any direction. I can go to M5 and check what are these guys selling. I see nothing they're selling except just to sell a big candle that is red. Personally, I don't see anything that is sellable there, even on M5 perhaps. Let me see. I'm trying to look, using my own devices, and I'm trying to say, this was bullish. I mean, how do you sell there, if even if the price did not do a bearish, there it is. So perhaps those who sold might have sold below that point, perhaps. It could be. But there it is. They sold, and there's the price going to the downside. Right. And that looks bearish on M1. I'm very liking that, I think. Okay, let me tell you, let me just zoom this and then let me shock you and just check that those who are selling, just gonna show you the level at which this price may go up to. You just be careful. It has just reached the 261.8 of the expansions from the zone that I'm looking at right now. So then how far can it go? There is the 261.8. That's how we know the targets. There it is. Reach the 261.8 of the Fibonacci expansion and causes a demand on M5. Nice engulfing. Look at the pin bar. Will it break this bearish engulf? I'm not going to be interested. Big selling, I must give them credit. But I wouldn't really be that much interested. Perhaps they may want to use this as a shoulder, to take it to the downside and boost themselves, the sellers, and boost the selling with a bit of the shoulder there, but it must come here. It must come here. They must break down the 261.8. They need to position themselves pretty well. Then if they can come back to the same support of the NFP, then they would. I expect that there should be a bounce, and this bounce will be negative overall to the Nasdaq, to the US Tech, and that's where they're targeting. So in full adjustment, I'll be taking the shoulder. Okay, there you go. I'll be taking the shoulder and I'll be taking the head, and that's where the 261.8 comes in. Then in this case, it must bounce again, and then it's gonna be going. Perhaps this point can be defended. I hope so. No, it looks like this point will be defended. Okay, right. I'm happy with that. Looks like the support will be well defended. The support of the 13,757 support. That looks like it's gonna be defended. Okay, that's looking. Yep, I'm happy with that. I think that's a 1, 2, 3. One is hoping to get that 1, 2, 3 bounce. Then from there, the Nasdaq should be ready to shoot to the upside. Right, so that's what it is. So it's a 261.8 of the expansions to the downside, looking like it's going to be breaking out this level. If I use the neckline, it's going to be the 127 expansion, 27 from the neckline. I will show that to you. Okay, just be cautious. All these patterns can trap those who don't know that much. You don't. I'll be lying. I think try to increase your knowledge, so that if you can, I mean, if you know little, which is the problem with today's traders, because today's traders don't want to acknowledge that the little they know is little. They say the little they know is much. No trader today wants to be called a novice trader. Not many, not the one that I've come across. I've come across some guys who have just learned the market for 1 or 2 days. They are going around and they are experts. I see lots of them giving advices. It's okay. Anybody is entitled to do whatever they want to do, even giving advice to anyone. So yeah, that's where it is. That's a 127. I'm just gonna show you right now. So the Nasdaq bouncing firstly at this support, make it a neckline. All right. Bouncing back to go to the head, breaking down this neckline. I don't see them going beyond. I don't see them going below this key support. I don't see anything that suggests that the Nasdaq can move below this psychological level or below this resistance they broke. This resistance was very key for them. They got it. They should be able to use this point as support. It has not been retested. It's even worse. They would like to use it to say a proper goodbye. And then from there, the sellers have just come there to usher it to the slaughterhouse. Then one expecting serious rallying there, which rally could even be doubled. You don't want me to show you sometimes these things. You're gonna get scared because these guys could and should be using the same amount. When you use ABCD pattern, they should be. In fact, it is already on an ABCD pattern. That's where it starts. There's the AB, and then thus we are on a journey, or the Nasdaq is on a journey. According to me, it's going on a journey to the 15,000. So there it is. Veracity traders, I know, I hope Veracity will like me for dishing out this kind of market analysis. If you make money on this pair so much on the bullish side, now we are left with just about 515 points to go to the upside on the Nasdaq. I don't know your PIP value with your broker, but I know a certain broker that does have a very good PIP value on the Nasdaq. There it is. Trading with Veracity, perhaps it's time to be investing in it. Apparently, I'm hearing that you can just fund your account by $30 and trade Nasdaq with Veracity. If that $30 can give you enough risk and enough cushion, 500 points, 500 pips, perhaps starting from this session could be coming perhaps for the week. You know, I don't know. What are you trading? Are you trading with Veracity? If you're trading with Veracity, that's your signal. Yes, it's looking bearish. It looks like it may finish this session on a bearish note. Right, so Nasdaq may finish bearish. For those who are keeping the bullish bias of the Nasdaq, don't be discouraged. The next level to buy, let me try something there, right, on the Nasdaq side. Let me try something on the Nasdaq side, right. Nice, looks like it's a nice signal again. I'll jump on it. I think I've spoken to my traders about this. Okay, I'm not going to disclose anything more than that. Keep exclusivity to exclusivity. If you want some exclusive services from us, we are doing the market previews every single month. We're trading high probability setups, which I have looked at them. I take efforts, I look at them, I search the market, screen the market, put everything under test. And then from there, I choose only 4 or 5 pairs which will move instruments, which we will all consider for movement during that time. And then from there, for the month, we're targeting over 1,000. We're targeting over 1,000, pips, over 1,000 pips. And last month we did just over 1,300 pips from only 3 pairs. 1 not activated, 3 activated. We made nice, good money next month. 1,300 pips in a single month, trading the market one direction. Right, so that's how it goes. That's where we are. There it is. Will the Nasdaq come to that level? Will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? I'm interested at what 13,764. What is your level? What are you interested in? There we go. It has reached that level that I'm talking about. We are going to be having too many to monitor. There it has come. There it has come to what I think is going to be the support. Should be able to be kicking now to the upside, finding the shoulder. If it does find the shoulder, then we are absolutely correct on that one. Let me show you. Then if this is let me just remove this one and make it to be an H1, H4. And then let me show you the 127, okay, of this neckline. And I think that's where it's going to drop. Right, there it is. Just going to be adding on this fib level. I'm just going to be adding 1.27 as our target. And that will make it from the shoulder to the perfect. Oh, man, where does this man come from? Perfect. There is the 127. This is called fib confluence now. So the 127 from the neckline, which is equal leg. So if you can take this, you take it from the head to the neckline, and you can see how it's going to be moving from the neckline. Perfect. That's equal leg right there. Remember, this is the bullish wave that we are monitoring. So this is just a nice correction of a bullish. We are all monitoring this head and shoulder pattern would not throw the price to below that key support. Instead, it's just going to be giving us a nice ABC You know, let me just break it down now again. Let me take this to the another time frame. So I'm not seeing anything that suggests that this price could surprise us by going any further down. So in this case, that's the rally. Stopped there. There we get, that's an impulse wave. Finished. There is another one starting from there, continuing. Let's see how far does it go. Is it going to 15? Could it be? Oh, coach, it is going to 15. That's going to be 1, 2. That's going to be 3, 4. Right. Then we connect again, and that's how we get to 15. 5 impulse wave to go to 15. And I take it to the M30. That's how it looks like. Voila. There it is, 14.5. What is this? I'm not training. Remember, I said if you want to join our training, you can join us later. There you go. So when I estimate this, this looks like it's going to be around 15. There it is, just about there or here, somewhere there. That's where we can rest. We can rest it right there. Okay, so that's what it is. So we are working on the second wave of this impulse, move 5 waves up on the NASDAQ, targeting 14,500. It's not a signal. I'm just breaking down the market for you. There is another resistance that still awaits us right there. You can interrupt me anytime during this. You can interrupt me anytime during this, and look at it. I can see that somebody saying the NASDAQ is lit. Fire, 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 fire. I'm seeing the same thing. Toka is putting his head on top of his head. We break it down, Toka. Keep coming, buddy, and tell others that we're breaking down the market there. USD is pushing the best on the NASDAQ, highly correlated. Thank you, Clement, for your comment right there. Yes, the USD we can look at it if you want us to do so. The NASDAQ is looking yummy, 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 yummy. I would definitely believe you. If you're trading with the Veracity, like I said, there's an opportunity for you to challenge Veracity for some withdrawal end of next week or by the end of the week. Let's see. Please remember, this is not financial advice. We're just looking at the markets and breaking it the way we see it. But beautiful markets today. This is a beautiful New York session. Beautiful, you know. We know when we say the market is beautiful because we know when the market is not that beautiful. That bears the US tech. We might come back to it to just monitor if entry would take place. There is 5 o'clock now. It's been an hour in our trading room. There it is, right? We're just gonna be monitoring those, and I think you're monitoring with me. Let's look at M15. There it is. There are the guys. There is the bounce. The bounce has started to form right now. If I can go check the stochastics of the M30s and the stochastics oscillator, they can tell you that this is definitely going to be highly likely, not definitely. It's not a good way to use, apparently, to tell people definitely, because everything is speculative. Okay. Everything is predictive. So if you want, I mean, there's still some money there. I think this sell will get some people to be excited right there. About 100 points are still awaiting for the sellers who will take the price to the 127. Let me just show you on how it works. So this is going to be the fib zone. This is going to be exactly the fib zone, you know. The fib zone is going to be at either 61.8 retracement, you know, or just around 76% of the retracement from this bottom or from this neckline. Once we get that, somebody could be wanting to sell there. I think I wouldn't like to do that personally, but if you like, there's some 100 points from the shoulder. I'm not encouraged to be encouraging traders to be selling the shoulders, because it's not good practice, especially if there's no correlation. But that shoulder has got lots of supply on the NASDAQ side, because I mean that engulfing candle is calling the sellers, even if it's just a shoulder. I would definitely, if you like the price action trading, that's gonna be a very nice supply zone right there, you know. So I think they will be jumping on it. I mean, even if they don't see the right shoulder, but they could be just jumping on that supply, you know, because that's a supply zone, you know. That's a supply zone. According to our calculation, that would be somewhere around 76.4 of the fib retracement, or just 61.8. So it's no stress, you know. Let's break it down. There's no hurry. Okay, could it be 61.8 retracement? That's gonna be our fib zone 1, or is it going to be the 76.4? Right, or is it going to be the 76.4 deeper retracement? We still have got some serious fib levels there that we've kept them secret. They could come through. There you go, Papa. There you go. Somebody said, where does this man come from? There it is. Perfect zoning there between our fib zone number 1 and 2. That is going to be the introduction of the activation of that big supply on M15. And I think it's also a supply zone. Watch that pin bar. Watch that pin bar at the top. That pin bar is looking good. So pretty much these guys could be reacting. The shoulder could be formed somewhere around FZ1 according to my chart, or FZ2. Just to be accurate, if you don't want to be risking that much, you can take FZ2 and then put your stop loss above the 0 there. But if you don't like to be missing the trades, you take the FZ1. Then from there, you know that your stop loss should be always above the 0 there. That's how we do that. And then your target is always going to be right around this demand, which is a 4-hourly demand. I think there is your level is going to be at this 4-hourly demand. That is where my buy limit is. This is what we call Fibonacci confluence, the expansions, the confluence of the expansions, only at Opulence FX. Looking for more training? We are doing training for intermediate guys every Wednesday. We do have got a training and a free mentorship that is happening online in the comfort of your very own room. It's happening tomorrow. Keep watching our Telegram channel. Keep watching all our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, on YouTube. Just the same way you have joined us, you may still join us again for our training. We are doing beginners. We are also doing intermediate training, free, completely knowing the basics of trading. What is the foundation? How did we come here? Many guys need to know, how did we get to this point? So tomorrow, we will confirm the time, whether it's going to be 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., okay, Central African time, or 7 p.m. We will be again online. This time we'll still be live in the market, and we will be going through one of our educational programs. So don't miss the education that we are giving. This is mentorship and training that many people have paid for, and some are still paying for. We are making it available online for free Wednesdays and Thursdays. The only difference is that it is going to be a class. We're going to be interacting, but those who are within our program, they can enjoy that program for free. But those within the program, they know that they've got an advantage of 1:1 support and care. So because we do support and advise our clients so that they do not get lost all the time in the market. What would you like me to do? Comments? I can see some comments coming through. Somebody, Sinetemba, it's here now. Welcome, Sinetemba. Sine, welcome so much. We would like me to look at the USD ZAR. Tap ZAR, looking at the USD ZAR. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna look at the USD ZAR. Just keep watching that. So we are now monitoring the USD CAD. We are looking at the Nasdaq. I would not like us to just analyze for the sake of analyzing, guys. This is a live market trading session. Look for opportunities that you can call your own. These form of analysis are not coming from a shallow form of analysis. I have looked at them carefully before, and as I look at them again, I'm looking them with the eye of a pro. So I'm not testing. I am pretty much looking and trying my best to make sure that the risk is reduced in the majority of the setups or in the live trading session that we have today in the New York. New York looking pretty good, I must tell you. It's fire. Okay, so now I have got two challenges, or two requests rather. There's a request from BSIB to do the Canadian dollar Swiss franc. That's a PAP pair. BSIB, I will explain that, but I wouldn't want us to be looking pretty much at that Canadian dollar Swiss franc. But because I've requested, it can be very educational for the other guys. We don't just trade any other pair. We trade the markets that move, and that moves with high probability and highly likely with momentum. And I think I've noticed that that's exactly where many traders get it wrong. That no matter how knowledgeable they are with the trading strategies, but they're still not able to pick up pairs that can give them money. You trade a pair, it locks you in. Then your money is locked in a pair when the pair is chopping because you don't know trends. Trends does not only mean up or down. We'll talk about that. Trends, it means that which trend is tradable. It's not every uptrend that is tradable. It's not every downtrend that is tradable. So you need to be very careful that you don't lock your margin where your money, where your margins will be low and you cannot take some other trades because you are caught into a market which does not move. And especially when you have invested almost 2 to 5% of your capital in it. If you can do that 20 times, all those will be locked. You will be locked into that market. Right. Right. Lovely, guys. I hope you're enjoying yourself. If you do, please just say Joe, drop a comment to say this is good. If this is not, if this is work, also tell us that, nah, man, I think I can do better than that. Then we can invite you to our group. Then we can together have a chat. Perhaps you can help us there to bring information and more powerful information to others. Join us next time. If you know somebody who can join me breaking down the market, drop their name right on the comments there. I've got guys that are behind the scenes who can contact them and say, Opulence FX is inviting you for a trading session with them. Let us talk together with some of the experts that you know. Let us break down the market together for the sake of those who are following and watching us. BSIP, you can understand, but I will still do the CAD Swiss franc, by the way, just to demonstrate to you that we do not trade any other pair. I don't like, I've looked at it for years. I do not like where the CAD Swiss franc is going and what it is doing. All right, but I will show that to you. Okay, let's now concentrate on the USD ZAR. Let's go to the USD ZAR. Can you go to the USD ZAR? Or before we do, we can just check again what is happening again with the USD CAD. Remember, we need to be monitoring all these things. There is the USD CAD, right? Completely gone to the downside. I told you I'm pretty average there, I'm still waiting for it to be breaking to the upside. And then there, so it's still held between the neckline and the shoulder. So not interesting right there. So let me go to USD ZAR. I've got a few charts on the USD ZAR side. Right, let me check this one if it has got anything interesting. These things are salvaging. They're planning to salvage this support. Let me look at that. This is the support I've been monitoring, the 1355, and the price seems like it's salvaging that support. I will get back to the USD ZAR again. I'm looking for a nice, could it be found under real? I doubt I could find something there. Anything under UZ21? I don't see anything again. Okay, I just don't, when I say I don't like, I'm liking what is happening in South Africa, that the dollar it's getting a serious beating. For me, that really makes me wondering about the USD ZAR. Is that Ramaphosa, I posted this on Facebook. I think those who follow me on Facebook, you must have known that I said Ramaphosa must be the one who must do lots of work around 14. And it looks like if he did not manipulate the market himself, because this is what happened sometimes when JZ, was allegedly, trapped by those who manipulate the market. So if anything, those guys are now at the level at which the dollar is supposed to be strong and the rand weaker. They definitely are pushing the price of the rand to be strong. And I think that could be to the credit of CR there, if you talk about politics. But definitely, let me just put it down on this New York sessions of the 8th of June, because you've asked me. Let me tell you something that I think is going to happen there. Trust me, you may not like what I say, but the market could be vindicating. The market could be vindicated. The USD ZAR pair could be vindicating Jacob Zuma as the president. And during his time, the majority of the market were selling easily. They would be selling the rands and buying the dollars deliberately. The breakout of this pair from the 14 rand, USD ZAR from the 14 rands, it makes the era and the presidency of Ramaphosa to enter a zone that the dollar has never been, the price could be the same, but the level, the zone at which this price is has never been since the presidency of Jacob Zuma. Let me say so. Why? It is because this line defines the presidency, which the latest presidency was the presidency of Zuma. And for the first time, though the price is still high, but it is entering a downtrend. And this could make Ramaphosa to come from being the worst president. If the trend continues to go like this, Ramaphosa could end up as the best president according to the markets between Mandela, Mbeki, and Zuma, under different circumstances, of course, under different circumstances, under different era. But from the point of numbers and how we look at that, from the point of trends, then the rand will officially be in a in an uptrend, and the dollar in a downtrend. We have never had that for the longest period of time. I'm telling you, we have never had that for the longest period of time. The trend line I've showed you is the trend line that dated back, just that this is not enough. I will check it on the basis of my Hot Forex account. I will check that again. But the breakout of the 14 at this time of the coronavirus makes it ushering the USD ZAR into a bearish trend. And like I said, during the time when the rand was strengthening or weakening, during all the time of JZ, it was all the dollar in an uptrend. It was a bullish market for the dollar, and the JZ did much. I mean, to move it from 17.74 when he reversed the decision to appoint Desmond van Rooyen. Just confidence of the market, push it to 1140. There, Ramaphosa took it again. I think that's Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa was appointed sometime there when they recalled him, and then it was at 1140. So you did not ask me for that analysis. I think you asked me to break it down in the New York session. Let's go to the New York session. Where will the USD ZAR go? I just wanted to make this disclosure that I think that JZ is being vindicated, that the market did not like him, and they were using their money to demonstrate that they don't like him. So bottom line, there it is. Now they are demonstrating again that they like and they love Cyril Ramaphosa. If anything could be written home about this movement of the market, USD ZAR. We are now at 1356, and this 1356 is the broken support. Is it the retest? Is this the resistance? Can the price move further down? I think that's what you are asking. It is the session, is both. Right. I think that's what the guys are asking right now. Could it go lower? Could it go lower? Could it go high? No, man. I want the USD ZAR. Sorry guys, I thought I've got the USD ZAR there. It looks like I've got the US tech. USD ZAR. Right. Firstly, get this, and secondly, get the template. Apologies. There is serious bearish dollar. You can see from there that this killing has never been, it has been a long time that they've seen this kind of killing. I mean, you can see that could be a long way. Looks like the USD CAD, because there's correlation there. They're both commodity currencies, by the way. There's still space for the US dollar to go down. Let me just put it down to you. I think, who's that asking about the USD ZAR? Let me mention you by name. We're in a trading room. You have asked for it. It was a Abundance FX. Somebody says that we are Abundance FX. This is very interesting. USD ZAR, the one who asked for it, it's not though, come on. It must be BSIB. USD ZAR. Who said you must do it? Oh, it's Clement. Clement, right. USD ZAR is Cine. Yeah, Cine. Let's do that. Right. You have got to understand that here we are just really measuring the extent at which the USD ZAR will go up to. So I'm going to be going to the latest impulse wave, This is the impulse wave that I would like you guys. We trade the market in cycles, This is what I'm going to concentrate on, because the market comes from far. I'm not going to repeat myself. So we are currently in this wave to the down, in this bearish wave. It's an impulse wave. Very important for you because we want to know how long will this impulse wave. This impulse wave is already going to wave number 5. You can see that it's impulsing nicely by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 3, 2, 3, and 4 have been found. And we're just looking to check how now can help you. How far can it go to the downside? So that's 1, 2. Nice impulse, by the way. Can't take anything from these guys. I believe that that's where it did number 4, number 3, 4. You got 3, 4. And this is going to the downside. Now, the question is that how low can it go? We could be having a longer 5. That you are just doing this does not mean is the end. You know, how I measure that is that I will tell you, so whether is this going to be the final or not. So I do my expansions and I want to check how far will my fibs take to the expansion side. We're not done. We can see that according to this, these guys will be finding their 5 around 13, 18, 13, 15. It could still get excited or just little bit volatile and reach the 13, the psychological 13 levels. Okay, the price we're looking at right now is the 13, 18, 13, 20. I know this price very well. I traded a lot. I know the 13, 20 support. So it is going to be a small support. I know this support. You see, I know it. I know this support because I traded it heavily. 2019 was just here. I traded this support pretty nice. Can you see how we do them? Perfect. You see how we do the market. So this impulse is expected to be fading somewhere around 1320, but it could cause some form of excitement because 1320 and 1300 as a psychological level becomes much more meaningful. And where will that come from? The 1290, the 1294, 13 is coming from the overall. It's coming from the overall fading levels of our first bounce, of our first. Right, there it is. Right, if you use this, you can see that there is a 423 right there. So if you can just be accurate with it, then we can see that it can still get volatile around that area, and the sellers could just get too excited because of the psychology, because they will not be, because we won't be that far from the level that is very interesting for everybody, and that's the 13 level. So based on that, there could be very nice. I want to do it like that. I like it. You know, I am convenient. You can see that there it is. I think let me leave it because that's what they want. That's what the FIPS is telling me that they want. They like that 420. So let me just show you the 423. That 423 price, it's the price right there. There is not a good typing there. Apologies. I wanted to put a dollar right there, not a 4. Right. 1290, exactly what I said. So that volatility that could happen here could make the price to come to the 1290. Yes, babize bonke baba batshele bonke lapho bukhona ukuthi Mr. Tabs have already spoken. The rightful, the good technical level for the reversal of this, for the end of this final impulse of this bearish market is 1320. That's a technical level. But because of high volatility around there and those who are trading sentiments, the sentiments can push this price and push it down up to 1290, which is a psychological 13 level. I don't see it sustaining below 13, but they could be targeting 13. Somebody gets excited and buy lots of rands touching the 1290. Then once the 1290 is touched, I don't see this price surviving anywhere above that. Then it should be able to make a pullback. Yes, you've asked me. I just told you this is not the right time to sell. This is not the right time to buy. Never going to be interested, as I tell people, on a buy, on a sell currently of the USD ZAR. So we are looking for the wave number 5 to still technically go to. Now we are on 1357. That's a retest of the 1355 that I'm telling you about that has just gotten there. So we're just still waiting for it to drop further. The 1320. I've got a small buy limit, but the 1290 should be a bigger bouncer. But we need to be making sure that every other commodity currency pair is at support. So the USD ZAR has been pretty resilient, or the USD CAD has arrived there earlier. So we will be waiting to see others, that will be arriving at that point. I hope it answers your question, Sine. I hope the question is answered. That is my view on the USD CAD. Some few more points to the downside, then we can consider to be buying. Some few more points, 12, 13, 20, but I would still not like that. If you do have got a small account, the 13, perhaps we can jump on the 13, but the 1290 from the fading level, the trend will fade completely around the 13 with the low of 1290, but the technical support is at 1320. I can't explain it that more. If you are still not understanding our analysis, you are joining us for the first time, please do not miss our training program, online training program for every Wednesday and Thursday. This is not for education. What other pair would you like me to do? I've done the USD ZAR, I've done the NASDAQ. Clement knows there's a correlation right there. So what Clement is saying about correlation is that for as long as the USD ZAR is flocking to the downside, the NASDAQ will be rallying. And Clement is absolutely correct. I think you've picked up this correlation yourself, that when it gets to the top, when the NASDAQ reaches the top, and the USD ZAR reaches that bottom, then you know that that's going to be the time to sell the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ is targeting the 14,500 levels, and the USD ZAR is targeting the 12.90 levels. Absolutely correlation, inverse correlation of the two. I fully agree with you, my friend. Since you found this correlation, I've been monitoring it, and I've seen power in that correlation. Just don't jump into those oversold oscillators of the USD ZAR. It would not help you at all. That the USD ZAR is overbought. There is just no support currently for it to be bouncing from, even if it's oversold. There's just nothing that it can hold on to. The only point it can hold on to, the hanger that it can hold on to, is the 1320. Perhaps it can bounce slightly, but if it does not get that support, it could be finding itself to 1290 for fading level. It's not support per se, but it's just fading levels. That point could be a very big demand for the dollar. But again, we'll be starting a pullback more than just rallying there, because the dollar USD ZAR is now bearish. Congratulations, those who are working with President Cyril Ramaphosa. Congratulations to him. He's doing pretty well. If his aim was to make the USD ZAR to be bearish, that mission seems like it's being accomplished. Not good for those who are trading in dollars, by the way, and those who have been funding their accounts right now. It's a good time to fund. Those who funded the account at 15 rand, you are now withdrawing at a lesser rate. You'd rather be growing your account, otherwise it becomes just not a good exercise. If you are losing that and you want to run away, perhaps not even a good time to be changing brokers if you've not traded. What else would you like me to do? We are now left with 4 minutes. I think I'm just going to be going to the last pair, because I want to finish at 5:30. You guys have been awesome with your comments, and I'm liking that you guys are following. At least we're having an interesting, very, very good session and very interesting market today. Let us go back, perhaps just to sum it up. Let us go back to check how the pairs that you've looked at today are doing. First thing is the USD TEC. USD TEC has dropped. There it is. It has now dropped. Did not fulfill my order there. Okay, but there it has dropped. It has dropped right to the point which we were discussing. Let me check again. That's the New York session. And I also looked it on a real. USD TEC. Okay. The NASDAQ seems like it fell right up to where it is. It fell right up to that level of the 15.7, as we said, and now it found that I wanted to go back to my Seems like that's oil, that's real. Is it a super scalping? Don't think it is. Must be New York session, perhaps. Right. I got lost in the maze. Market overview. NFP. Could it be NFP? Perhaps. Yeah, here it is. That's the NFP profile. There it is. What a flop. Never went to the right shoulder. There you go. Never went to the right shoulder. Touched the 261.8 confluence point of view. Looked like I'm kicked out there. Right. There it is. Found the point there. Should be now targeting that point. But there is the point that I told you about, the confluence of the fib zone, holding the price, hit, heavy hit. That's a big heavy hit. Watch that hit. That's a big selling there, right there. Okay. So we now are waiting to see if these sellers will keep on dropping to the downside. I think they've come to what I've told you about, which is the 4 hourly demand levels. So, and also the confluence of that. But the candles over the past 8 hours are looking excruciatingly bearish. Will it survive? Will the Nasdaq survive? I think it should, according to my analysis, but it needs to get itself together. But this Marubozu is facing 2 bearish big candles. Will the sellers overcome this point? I mean, the way they flocked this neckline is amazingly powerful. Momentum on it, volumes on it. What can we say? Gold still looks holding the top there, and it's doing pretty well. And the USD CAD is also holding there, the shoulder and the neckline. So that's still holding. The one that has moved is the Nasdaq. Right. So that's what we've looked at. Now, beautiful market today. The Nasdaq, one needs to look at it again, but I think I'm liking what I'm seeing there. The sellers coming heavy, but whether they will break this support, which is the support that I'm still very much keen to go on for that 500 pips, I am definitely thinking it should definitely be able to go there and take it by force. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, just about 7:31 tomorrow is training, and on Friday we now have there it is, dropped to the downside. So in this case, we could just be revising and then the fib zone is dropped. Still could be looking for this, because I'm not gonna be jumping on it. But now, right there it is. Okay, will it come to this point? That's what you need to see, because at the rate at which it's running, the 127 is pushed to the downside, changing the support, but this is still the support. Second one, it's hammering of the support. I must definitely be and targeting the second one. The resistance now sit there at the neckline. Right, could it be? Let's wait and see. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for the live trading session for tonight. We are going to be meeting again on Friday. On Friday, we are meeting almost the same time on Friday from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5:30 for another New York session. But before then, we should be able to meet again for the London session. So let's meet then. Until then, let there be pips. Keep watching the market. It's getting volatile. So do not let the market go with your account. Just keep watching that. Until we meet again, let there be pips. Cheers.